Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Adams Rite number 1000-02-12-130 is what this is. This is a thumb turn. It's part of their 1000 series or 1000 series family thumb turns that you can use on doors with their hook bolt, their MS 1847, and here is a visual tour of the item. 4 pieces, obviously the business end, the thumb turn itself, and the 130 in the part number I gave is the aluminum color. We'll talk about that more in a moment. You're going to have a nylon washer. That's going to be important to go in. You're going to have your spindle or your tailpiece. That's important to go in there. Then you're going to have your lock washer, and you're going to pressure fit that down over the assembly, and I would literally just force that down to get that tailpiece to stay locked in place. And we're not going to do that because this client is going to get this material and will need to assemble the product at the time of installation. Because this gets installed onto or through the wall thickness of a door itself, because that's how this item is mounted. Now, we'll touch on that a moment as we get through all these documents. Below this video is a table of data that describes this item in full. The 1000 series thumb turns can be available without a rectangular escutcheon or with it. Just imagine a rectangular escutcheon underneath that. The -01 or the -02 models are without escutcheon. The -01 and the 02 also define the orientation of the tailpiece, or the spindle. It's called spindle. I'm calling it a tailpiece. The -02 in this instance is where the spindle is perpendicular to the thumb turn. If this was a -01, this would literally be vertical as well, so that it would be parallel with the item. This client's application requires that it be perpendicular. Okay. Now, the next set of numbers, the -12, is the length of the spindle, and that is 39/64, which is about 0.60 inch, which is just less than 5/8. And that is really measured from the underside of the tailpiece to the end of the, or thereabouts. It's the length of the spindle, but you can kind of measure it closely on the underside of the thumb turn to the end of the spindle, and you can see that basically you're heavy on 9/16 and you're just below 5/8, so 0.6 inch is what that is going to measure. Finishes, the 119 would be black, the 121 would be dark bronze, the 130 is the sprayed aluminum. Now, there are 3 documents below this video, and the rest of the table down below you can review at your leisure. The first of those 3 documents is called Data Sheet, and the data sheet on page 2 shows us how to build the part number. It's an overview of everything in particular. You can get all of the data that you need from those 2 pages. However, let's dissect that further. There's a link to the installation guide, the second link, and that link is nice because it really talks about specifically the third set of numbers, not the 1000, not the 01 or 02 or 21 or 22, I think they are, but the -12 in this case. That table shows you the length of the spindle and how it's defined, how it's measured, and that spindle length is important because it's really related to door thickness, or door thickness and where the lock body is mortised or installed in the edge of the door. Simply stated, you need to have this long enough to communicate to the inside of that lock. Now, if you don't know what length, and if you're doing a retrofit, I suppose you could order the longest length and then cut it. But it would be preferable that you know ahead of time how long of a spindle you're going to need for your installation. And that document does that information very well. And as I had mentioned earlier, lower right-hand corner shows how the -01 or the -02 get installed. You know, you've got your thumb turn, your plastic washer, You've got your spindle, and that's going to go into the door through the hole in the door that you drill. Spindle in first. Plastic washer over all of it. Now it's relatively captive on there. If I hold that washer, it won't fall out. Through the hole that you've drilled in the door, then the push nut comes in, and the wall thickness of the door is literally between the nylon washer and the push nut. That's how your installation is going to happen. Other important dimensional properties to review there in terms of your hole location, with or without the escutcheon. That upper right-hand corner mentions that. The third link is how to order, and that's just simple and straightforward, how to build this part number. However, there is something on the data sheet that's important to review, and it's also in the extended description of this item. That is best to look at in the data sheet, lower right-hand corner of page 1. Determining perpendicular or parallel drive is directly related to how or what position your application requires the thumb turn to be when you're in the locked and unlocked position. Meaning you need to be able to turn that so that you can have proper operation. Meaning it needs to be oriented so that you don't have an obstacle like trim or the door treatment preventing you from actually operating and locking and unlocking the lock. This client needed a perpendicular drive, and I'm not sure which of the 3 lock bodies, the MS-1847, 09, 06, or 02 he has, but the 09 is incredibly common. And you can see where the orientation of that needs to be. Meaning, imagine if you tried to install your... Imagine if you ordered a parallel drive and you literally had trim that came back over the edge of the door to the point where you couldn't turn that far enough to be able to get the door into the unlocked position. Okay, so that's why you have to study perpendicular or parallel drive, and we will certainly help you with that. You've got in that drawing, it's a bit confusing, I suppose, but a solid line, a solid silhouette line of this in a dotted or dashed silhouette line. The solid is the locked position. The dash or dotted silhouette line is the unlocked position. So studying that, you'll be able to determine what you need. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Adams Rite products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. The name Adams Rite is synonymous with specialized hardware that you're going to see primarily on the aluminum storefront industry, but also thumb turns like this for residential applications where you have sliding doors that close off the back of the house to your enclosed lanai, your pool area. Wood doors as well. They do a variety of hardware when it comes to exit devices, electric strikes, certainly, lock bodies. There is also on that page a link to the parts diagram, and a tremendous asset of the Adams Rite company is that they basically publish every individual constituent part as it relates to the greater lock assembly, meaning this client needed to just repair some locks that he had, didn't have to replace all of the parts, but because we were able to derive the part numbers, he can remove what was broken, replace what he had to, and salvage the existing installation and simply not purchase an entire new lock. So that's a hallmark of Adams Rite. Any questions on the 1000-02-12 in a 630 finish or any other Adams Rite product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.